Hello YouTube, and welcome back to another before and after. So, there's something kind of special about this one. This is my very first time going to a movie without my parents. Now, some people might just see this as a minor thing, but to me, it's a sign of responsibility. Granted, I might be going with my friends, but you know what? I will be going without my parents. That is indeed an achievement to me. I need to do more exciting things. So, okay, so the movie that we're going to be looking at today, like as the title says, Kung Fu Panda 3. So, yeah, we've been looking at quite a few 3 movies lately. Captain America 3, now Kung Fu Panda 3. So saying, kind of a coincidence. And we're definitely going to be looking at X-Men Apocalypse, which is the 3rd in the First Class series. So, coincidence? I think so. So, let's actually get to talking about this trailer. And so, the trailer, for the most part, actually does look pretty funny. Now, for the most part, the animation looks beautiful. Just like it has in the last movies, it looks great. But, one thing I did do that's a little bit different than my other before and afters, is that for this one, I actually took a look at the second official trailer. Now, my reasoning for this is because I couldn't find anything on the villain in the first official trailer. So, yeah, kind of want to know a little bit about your villain. So, I did go back and look at the second trailer, and I found something kind of interesting. His voice. Who voices him, you might ask? Ford Pines from Gravity Falls. Yeah, I know that this is a weird comparison, but that's Ford Pines. All I can hear when I hear that voice now is Ford Pines. I forgot the actor's name, but he is a good actor. But unfortunately now all I can think about when I hear his voice is Stan Pines. So, I mean Ford Pines. So, yeah, kind of weird. Just like a little thing I wanted to bring up. But for the most part, the villain looks awesome. He has these crystal warriors, which we can tell because they're the same color as his dagger, which is an awesome dagger. It's on chain, and he seems to be the very first one with supernatural ability, so that's something. He also seems to be pretty funny, unlike all the other villains, where in the trailers they did make them feel menacing. So yeah, that's something that's kind of different. They're making their villain actually seem funny. I don't know if this is a choice for better or worse. Because, well, frankly, I do prefer the more maniacal villains. Seriously, the first 2 villains have been awesome. So I'm hoping for a lot from this one. It's probably gonna be a great villain. I mean, probably just a little nitpick that he's gonna be funnier than the others, but the other 2 did have their funny moments, so I guess I can give him that. Now, the main plot of this movie seems to be that Poe is going to go be a teacher because um, he's been learning Kung Fu longer. I mean, shorter. He's been learning it for a shorter amount of time than all the others. Yeah, why is he learning how to be a teacher here? I really don't get that. Like, where's the point in that? He wasn't a teacher before, he doesn't have any learning experience, and all the others have trained longer than he has, but since he's the Dragon Warrior, or the Warrior of Black and White, I think I prefer the Dragon Warrior title more, but, since he's that warrior, I guess that means that he has to be a teacher now? Still not quite sure how that works, but okay, I guess he has to be a teacher now, and he also gets to meet his dad. And apparently, His dad just says, "Hey, you're my son. Let me take you to my home village, which is far up in the mountains. Let's have fun. This will be a nice bonding experience for us, right?" Um, and it seems that Poe's adopted dad doesn't look too happy about this. So, now, pretty much that seems like the basic premise of this movie, so I don't really know where they're going to go from there. But one thing I can definitely say is that it looks funny. Like, that's pretty much what I can say about most of these trailers, but they do look very funny. Jack Black is a perfect fit for the character of Poe. Um, so it does look very funny. It does at least have that going for it. Now, as for whether or not it'll be as good as the first two, which I really do love, I don't know. I mean, the first two were great movies, so I can't really tell if this one's going to be better or worse than them. Or if it'll just be a pretty good follow-up, but not as good as the others. Like Captain America Civil War. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, actually. The overall story does look pretty good and looks like a nice continuation from where they left off. And again, animation looks great. That one fighting sequence that starts it off looks awesome. That starts off the first official trailer. Looks great. Now, one thing I gotta bring up, Back in Black. They started playing that in the trailer, and I gotta say, it's a pretty good choice. I know this is kind of a very minor thing, but I like the 80s music, so yeah, it's just something I want to bring up. So yeah, it looks like a good movie. I guess I'll just have to wait and see it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye. Okay, so I have now returned from the movie, and I think it's okay. Alright, so let's get into a little bit more details now. There will be some spoilers here, so yeah, I mean, they're not really that big of a spoiler, and the big reveals that they have in this movie are pretty easy to predict, but you know what? Still, I'm gonna say spoilers just in case if you guys didn't want anything spoiled, then you can leave. So, but for all those who don't care or have already seen it, you guys can say. So, now, the overall story arc of this movie is that Poe is trying to become a teacher of Kung Fu. Why is he doing this? I don't know. He just has to now. Because Shifu left. Why did he leave? So he can stay up in a cave for 30 years and become a master of Chi. What? I mean, like, okay, that's what the other guy, the turtle guy, did. I forgot his name already, even though they say it a lot during the movie. Oogway? Yeah, Oogway, okay. Well, Oogway did that, so I guess it'll work for everybody. And I guess that means Poe has to do that at one point. Yeah, he looks patient enough to do that. So, yeah, after one failed training course, all his spirits are broken because he's bad and hasn't been taught how to teach anyone yet. Yeah, Shifu, you might want to give him a little bit of instruction there. Seriously, he just sort of leaves them. His very last class is the art of disappearing, and which involves, look over there! I mean, like, that's pretty much the whole entire thing. So, yeah, epic class. Um, so, pretty much, what else happens in this movie? Poe meets his dad, who left the Panda village because he got a message from the universe. I don't know. So, he went out to go find his son, and once you know it, he finds him. Pretty conveniently. So, he met his son, and now what are they gonna do? Mess around with ancient artifacts. Although I will say this scene does have some really good animation, and it is nice to see the continuation of the whispering jar thing come back. I do like seeing how it was all glued back together. That was really funny. Like I did like seeing how that joke came back. And that happened in the first movie, so they had to remember that. So I like how they kept in mind that. And pretty much they just mess around with all these ancient artifacts. No one gets mad at them. Feel like there should have been a joke there. But pretty much now they need to learn about chi because Kai, voiced by J.K. Simmons, who also voiced Ford, I already brought this up, but I want to bring it up again because that is awesome. Um, he is apparently out to get his revenge. And actually, I gotta admit, this is a really cool villain. Not as cool as the other two, they were definitely more menacing. And this guy is more funny, but he is still kind of menacing in his own right. I mean, he did take out all the other um, kung fu fighters, so I forgot the official term, but he took them all out. And he turned them into little jade statues, which he can now bring back to life. And I gotta admit, that's pretty cool. Um, his main source of a weapon is this really cool dagger on a chain, and I forgot the official term of that weapon. I know there is one. It's just, I forgot it. And that's a really cool weapon. He does use this really well, and it is really great animation that they use it with. Um, and pretty much this villain is just awesome. I do like how they use more of a magic element with him, making him a little bit more unique than the other two. So, yeah, there's a lot of great things with this villain. Also, he gets to show us more kung fu fighting animals who had different techniques and everything. Probably my personal favorite one was the porcupine one, because this guy, he's a good hands-on fighter, but he also has a bow and arrow, which he then gets one of the spikes from himself and launches it as an arrow. That is awesome. I seriously loved that. That was so cool. Seeing as bow and arrows are my favorite weapon, I did love seeing that. So that was very awesome. But back onto the actual movie, pretty much Poe goes off with his dad so he can learn about chi because pandas were apparently very good with chi at one point. And his dad says, yeah, we still know about that now. We totally know about this now. So, yeah, we can really kind of tell where this is going. I know, it's impossible to see. So, pretty much all everyone else at the Jade Palace stays behind so they can try and protect it, but everyone else ends up getting turned to jade statues except for Tigress, who goes off, warns Poe, who has not learned anything about chi but has learned how to roll down a hill and eat with his fingers. He's learned a lot. So, yeah, pretty much he hasn't really learned all that much, but he's gonna go confront his dad about this, to which his dad says, we know nothing. Might known that at one point, but not anymore. So, yeah. This, of course, kind of pisses Poe off. I wonder why. So, now Poe pretty much goes off and makes his own statue, MacGyver style, so he can train. And it's actually a pretty cool montage. And I do like the transitions, but how would he make that statue so fast? I mean, really, how did he make that fighting thing so fast? That had to take a little bit, and he just learned it, like, right there on the spot how to make it. Is that one of his Panda training methods? Learn how to make a fighting statue that you can beat up? I mean, really, what? How did he learn that? So, yeah. Now Poe, all of a sudden, takes into account all the teaching methods he got, which is be you. Yeah, that's very specific. The movie even points out how vague this is. Um, And yeah, I gotta admit that is kind of funny because that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, wow, couldn't be more vague there. But pretty much it teaches all the pandas how to use their own special talents to be able to beat Kai. And actually, in a pretty good twist, it doesn't work. I do like that twist though, that it ends up failing. It backfires. Like usually in movies, this would be the way to win. But here, it's just like, nope, it doesn't help at all. Learn something that you should have been teaching. Yeah, I like that mess. I like that lesson. That's actually really funny. And pretty much Poe sacrifices himself with that stupid finger grabbing technique and becomes Petals. I don't know. So then the ending climax pretty much consists of him in the spirit realm, which is actually a pretty cool realm. I do like how they designed it and everything. Everything seems to have some force of gravity to it, but not all that much, and it does still levitate and everything, so that's really cool. Um, and pretty much he fights Kai with the power of chi, which all the pandas spontaneously learn how to do. I don't know how they did that. And pretty much they beat Kai by letting Poe become a giant dragon. Yep. How much? How many drinks did they have to be able to come up with that climax? Alright, and then what do they do? They come back because Poe can do that now, but he met up with Oogway and got a stick, so everyone's cool with it. And he pretty much came back, so he can now teach everyone else, and we can get 3 more movies. Yes, this series does have 6 movies planned. 6 or 7, I forgot which, but that's still a lot of movies planned. For some reason, my hair keeps on coming on my arm, which is annoying, and that's pretty much where the movie ends. It ends up with a Japanese or Chinese, I can't tell which, version of Kung Fu fighting. I don't really get that, but yeah, that's pretty much where the movie ends. Poe is now a teacher because reasons, and that's about it. So, for this movie, I think it's okay, but it's more childish than the other two. Like, the first two, they have more of an adult theme to them to me, and it took the matters more seriously and more maturely. And it even poked fun at some stuff, which was really nice. And here they do that at times, but it doesn't really come across the same way. So it does kind of feel like a letdown in some respects. And some of the jokes, I just ended up face palming. Seriously, some of the jokes in this were just really bad, but it's still an okay movie. It does have its nice moments, like when Lee is talking about Poe's mother and everything and how much he loved her and how she sacrificed her life. That was a really nice, subtle moment. And it does take a break. And to me, the moment was kind of destroyed when out of nowhere, this one panda whose whole gimmick is he hugs, don't know, and he pretty much just all of a sudden comes in and starts hugging people and destroys the moment. And I don't know why he did that. And also, one little minor nitpick for a secret panda village, a lot of people seem to find it. I mean, okay, I can get sneaking into a backpack to find it, but Tigress and Kai found it on their own somehow. So, yeah, not the best secret panda village. So, yeah, there are some really good aspects in this movie to me. The animation is still amazing. They do tie into the animation in this one as well, and I do still love that. And to me, it actually makes a little bit more sense where they tie it into because it's actually in a scene where they're reading off of a scroll. So, yeah, it would make sense to do it more like a 2D animated style there on a piece of paper. To me, that was a really different choice that they made throughout these movies because there's a time of being in the dream sequences, and yeah, it's kind of cool to see how they did affect what type of animation 2D animation is into the movie. Um, and another nice moment is pretty much where, to me at least, this is a cool moment, is where we get to see how Kai became what he is. Um, Now, the way that he became what he is actually kind of neat to me. I do wish that they went into a little bit more detail, but hey, it's better than Anakin Skywalker's transformation, so I'll give him that. But pretty much, I do really, I do really think that this movie did have some flaws that needed to work out too. Like, at least in the first two, they were learning techniques that would come into play in the end, like the moving of the raindrop, the pinky grab technique. Those two things would play a part in the ending. Here, you could say that he was doing that with Chi, but he wasn't learning how to focus that this whole movie. It was actually a main plot point in the movie that he wasn't learning that. So, yeah, him learning about Chi all of a sudden was just kind of random to me. In the Panda Village, wow, nicely designed, and there is some great animation, especially with the ribbon dance. But pretty much all the characters in it just feel really cliche. So to me, this movie is kind of like a half and half. It's an alright movie. I just don't think it's as good as the other two. Now, I saw this movie with my friends who I haven't seen in a while. Yes, this before and after does tie into the movie going experience as well. And yeah, they pretty much had the same reaction as me. I saw it with a younger kid, and he loved it. And I saw it with someone who was about my age, and yeah, he pretty much had the same opinion as me. So yeah, we kind of shared how we felt about the movie, and I think that does sort of explain how audiences will feel going to this one. It's more kid oriented, which to me is kind of an issue, but there are some nice moments that do make me just appreciate that they do have good storytelling techniques. Um, and again, the villain is great. I mean, I really do love this villain. He is really cool. He's pretty funny at times, and heck, there's even a great little joke where it ties in how much of a nerd um Poe is to know about this guy, and I really did love that bit. That was hilarious to me. But yeah, overall, this movie was. Eh. I mean, I've seen better movies. To me, this one just didn't really hit it where it needed to hit. Um, it was an alright movie, but to me, it just seems like they needed to work out some flaws. But the animation is still incredible. I do really love this animation. It looks great. I actually had to explain to my dad on the ride home the details of animation and how much goes into it. His reaction was pretty much just wow. And so, yeah, I did have to explain a lot in how animation works and how much detail they had to put into this movie. Um, it was really great in the animation department at least, but overall, I thought it was just an okay movie. Not as good as the other two, but if you were to watch this one on its own, I think it would be able to stand on its own pretty well. So that's pretty much my 2 cents. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye.